Hair is a protein filament that grows from follicles found in the dermis, or skin. Hair is one of the defining characteristics of mammals. The human body, apart from areas of glabrous skin, is covered in follicles which produce thick terminal and fine vellus hair. Most common interest in hair is focused on hair growth, hair types and hair care. But hair is also an important biomaterial primarily composed of protein, notably keratin. Attitudes towards different hair, such as hairstyles and hair removal, vary widely across different cultures and historical periods, but it is often used to indicate a person's personal beliefs or social position, such as their age, sex, or religion. Overview. The word hair usually refers to two distinct structures: the part beneath the skin, called the hair follicle, or, when pulled from the skin, the bulb. This organ is located in the dermis and maintains stem cells, which not only regrow the hair after it falls out, but also are recruited to regrow skin after a wound. The shaft, which is the hard filamentous part that extends above the skin surface. A cross-section of the hair shaft may be divided roughly into three zones. Hair fibers have a structure consisting of several layers, starting from the outside. The cuticle, which consists of several layers of flat, thin cells laid out overlapping one another as roof shingles. The cortex, which contains the keratin bundles in cell structures that remain roughly rod-like. The medulla, a disorganized and open area at the fiber center. Description. Each strand of hair is made up of the medulla, cortex, and cuticle. The innermost region, the medulla, is not always present and is an open, unstructured region. The highly structural and organized cortex, or middle layer of the hair, is the primary source of mechanical strength and water uptake. The cortex contains melanin, which colors the fiber based on the number, distribution, and types of melanin granules. The shape of the follicle determines the shape of the cortex, and the shape of the fiber is related to how straight or curly the hair is. People with straight hair have round hair fibers. Oval and other shaped fibers are generally more wavy or curly. The cuticle is the outer covering. Its complex structure slides as the hair swells and is covered with a single molecular layer of lipid that makes the hair repel water. The diameter of human hair varies from 0.17 to 18 millimeters. There are 2 million small, tubular glands and sweat glands that produce watery fluids that cool the body by evaporation. The glands at the opening of the hair produce a fatty secretion that lubricates the hair. Hair growth begins inside the hair follicle. The only living portion of the hair is found in the follicle. The hair that is visible is the hair shaft, which exhibits no biochemical activity and is considered dead. The base of a hair's root contains the cells that produce the hair shaft. Other structures of the hair follicle include the oil-producing sebaceous gland, which lubricates the hair, and the erectopili muscles, which are responsible for causing hairs to stand up. In humans with little body hair, the effect results in goosebumps. Root of the hair. The root of the hair ends in an enlargement, the hair bulb, which is whiter in color and softer in texture than the shaft, and is lodged in a follicular involution of the epidermis called the hair follicle. Bulb of hair layers consist of fibrous connective tissue, glassy membrane, external root sheath, internal root sheath composed of epithelium stratum and granular stratum, cuticle, cortex and medulla of hair. Natural color. All natural hair colors are the result of two types of hair pigments. Both of these pigments are melanin types. pigments produced inside the hair follicle and packed into granules found in the fibers. Eumelanin is the dominant pigment in brown hair and black hair, while pheomelanin is dominant in red hair. Blonde hair is the result of having little pigmentation in the hair strand. Gray hair occurs when melanin production decreases or stops, while poliosis, typically in spots, is hair that never possessed melanin at all in the first place, or ceased for natural genetic reasons, generally in the first years of life. Human hair grows everywhere on the external body except for mucous membranes and glabrous skin, such as that found on the palms of the hands, soles of the feet, and on the lips. Hair follows a specific growth cycle with 3 distinct and concurrent phases: anagen, catagen, and telogen phases. Each has specific characteristics that determine the length of the hair. All 3 occur simultaneously. One strand of hair may be in the anagen phase, while another is in the telogen phase. The body has different types of hair, including vellus hair and androgenic hair, each with its own type of cellular construction. The different construction gives the hair unique characteristics, serving specific purposes, mainly warmth and protection. Texture. Hair exists in a variety of textures. 3 main aspects of hair texture are the curl pattern, volume, and consistency. The derivations of hair texture are not fully understood. All mammalian hair is composed of keratin, so the makeup of hair follicles is not the source of varying hair patterns. There are a range of theories pertaining to the curl patterns of hair. Scientists have come to believe that the shape of the hair shaft has an effect on the curliness of the individual's hair. A very round shaft allows for fewer disulfide bonds to be present in the hair strand. This means the bonds present are directly in line with one another, resulting in straight hair. The flatter the hair shaft becomes, the curlier hair gets, because the shape allows more cysteines to become compacted together, resulting in a bent shape that, with every additional disulfide bond, becomes curlier in form. The hair follicle shape determines curl pattern. The hair follicle size determines thickness. While the circumference of the hair follicle expands, so does the thickness of the hair follicle. An individual's hair volume, as a result, can be thin, normal, or thick. The consistency of hair can almost always be grouped into 3 categories: fine, medium, and coarse. This trait is determined by the hair follicle volume and the condition of the strand. Fine hair has a small circumference in relation to medium and coarse strands, coarse hair having the largest circumference. Coarse hair has a more open cuticle than thinner medium hair, causing it to be the most porous. Classification systems. There are various systems that people use to classify the curl patterns. Being knowledgeable of an individual's hair type is a good start to knowing how to take care of one's hair. There is not just one method to discovering one's hair type. Additionally, it is possible, and quite normal, to have more than one kind of hair type, for instance having a mixture of both type 3A and AMP 3B curls. Andre Walker system. This hair typing system is the most widely used system to classify hair. The system was created by the hairstylist of Oprah Winfrey, Andre Walker. According to this system, there are 4 types of hair: straight, wavy, curly, kinky. Type 1 is straight hair, which reflects the most sheen and also the most resilient hair of all of the hair types. It is hard to damage and immensely difficult to curl this hair texture, because the sebum easily spreads from the scalp to the ends without curls or kinks to interrupt its path. It is the most oily hair texture of all. Type 2 is wavy hair, whose texture and sheen ranges somewhere between straight and curly hair. Wavy hair is also more likely to become frizzy than straight hair, while Type A waves can easily alternate between straight and curly styles. Type B and C wavy hair is resistant to styling. Type 3 is curly hair known to have an S shape. The curl pattern may resemble a lowercase s, uppercase S, or sometimes an uppercase Z. This hair type is usually voluminous, climate-dependent, and damage-prone. Lack of proper care causes less defined curls. Type 4 is kinky hair, which features a tightly coiled curl pattern that is often fragile with a very high density. This type of hair shrinks when wet, and because it has fewer cuticle layers than other hair types, it is more susceptible to damage. FIA system. This is a method which classifies the hair by curl pattern, hair strand thickness, and overall hair volume. Function. Many mammals have fur and other hairs that serve different functions. Hair provides thermal regulation and camouflage for many animals. For others, it provides signals to other animals such as warnings, mating, or other communicative displays. And for some animals, hair provides defensive functions and, rarely, even offensive protection. Hair also has a sensory function, extending the sense of touch beyond the surface of the skin. Guard hairs give warnings that may trigger a recoiling reaction. Warmth. While humans have developed clothing and other means of keeping warm, the hair found on the head serves as primary sources of heat insulation and cooling, as well as protection from ultraviolet radiation exposure. The function of hair in other locations is debated. Hats and coats are still required while doing outdoor activities in cold weather to prevent frostbite and hypothermia, but the hair on the human body does help to keep the internal temperature regulated. When the body is too cold, the erector pili muscles found attached to hair follicles stand up, causing the hair in these follicles to do the same. These hairs then form a heat-trapping layer above the epidermis. This process is formally called piloerection, derived from the Latin words pilosis and erectio, but is more commonly known as having goosebumps in English. This is more effective in other mammals whose fur fluffs up to create air pockets between hairs that insulate the body from the cold. The opposite actions occur when the body is too warm. The erector muscles make the hair lie flat on the skin, which allows heat to leave. Protection. In some mammals, such as hedgehogs and porcupines, the hairs have been modified into hard spines or quills. These are covered with thick plates of keratin and serve as protection against predators. Touch sense. Displacement and vibration of hair shafts are detected by hair follicle nerve receptors and nerve receptors within the skin. Hairs can sense movements of air as well as touch by physical objects, and they provide sensory awareness of the presence of ectoparasites. Some hairs, such as eyelashes, are especially sensitive to the presence of potentially harmful matter. Eyebrows and eyelashes. The eyebrows provide moderate protection to the eyes from dirt, sweat and rain. They also play a key role in nonverbal communication by displaying emotions such as sadness, anger, surprise and excitement. In many other mammals, they contain much longer, whisker-like hairs that act as tactile senses. The eyelash grows at the edges of the eyelid and protects the eye from dirt. The eyelashes to humans, camels, horses, ostriches, etc. What whiskers are to cats? They are used to sense when dirt, dust, or any other potentially harmful object is too close to the eye. The eye reflexively closes as a result of this sensation.